Chapter 37 of Astronomy, The Science of the Heavenly Bodies, by David Todd. The Ringed Planet. Saturn is the most remote of all the planets that the ancient peoples knew anything about. These anciently known planets are sometimes called the lucid or naked eye planets, 5 in number: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Saturn shines as a first magnitude star with a steady straw-colored light and is at a distance of about 800 million miles from the Earth when best seen. Saturn travels completely round the Sun in a little short of 30 years, and the telescope, when turned to Saturn, reveals a unique and astonishing object. A vast globe somewhat similar to Jupiter, but surrounded by a system of rings wholly unlike anything else in the universe, as far as at present known. The whole encircled by a family of 10 moons or satellites. The Saturnian system, therefore, is regarded by many as the most wonderful and most interesting of all the objects that the telescope reveals. At first, the flattening of the disk of Saturn is not easily made out, but every 15 years, as 1921 and 1936, the Earth comes into a position where we look directly at the thin edge of the rings, causing them to completely disappear. Then the remarkable flattening of the poles of Saturn is strikingly visible, amounting to as much as 1/10 of the entire diameter. The atmospheric belt system is also best seen at these times. But the rings of Saturn are easily the most fascinating features of the system. They can never be seen as if we were directly above or beneath the planet, so they never appear circular, as they really are in space, but always oval or elliptical in shape. The minor axis, or greatest breadth, is about 1/2 the major axis, or length. The latter is the outer ring's actual diameter, and it amounts to 170,000 miles, or 2 1/2 times the diameter of Saturn's globe. There are in fact no less than 4 rings: an outer ring, sometimes seen to be divided near its middle, an inner, broader, and brighter ring, and an innermost dusky or crepe ring, as it is often called. This comes within about 10,000 miles of the planet itself. After the form and size of the rings were well made out, their thickness, or rather lack of thickness, was a great puzzle. If a model about 1 foot in diameter were cut out of tissue paper, the relative proportion of size and thickness would be about right. In space, the thickness is very nearly 100 miles, so that, when we look at the ring system edge-on, it becomes all but invisible except in very large telescopes. Clearly, a ring so thin cannot be a continuous solid object, and recent observations have proved beyond a doubt that Saturn's rings are made up of millions of separate particles moving around the planet, each as if it were an individual satellite. Ever since 1857, the true theory of the constitution of the Saturnian ring has been recognized on theoretic grounds, because Clerk Maxwell founded the dynamical demonstration that the rings could be neither fluid nor solid, so that they must be made up of a vast multitude of particles traveling around the planet independently. But the physical demonstration that absolutely verified this conclusion did not come until 1895, when, as we have said in the preceding chapter, Keeler, by radial velocity measures on different regions of the ring by means of the spectroscope, proved that the inner parts of the ring travel more swiftly around the planet than the outer regions do. And he further showed that the rates of revolution in different parts of the ring exactly correspond to the periods of revolution which satellites of Saturn would have if at the same distance from the center of the planet. The innermost particles of the dusky ring, for example, travel around Saturn in about 5 hours, while the outermost particles of the outer bright ring take 137 hours to make their revolution. For many years, it was thought that the Saturnian ring system was a new satellite in process of formation, but this view is no longer entertained, and the system is regarded as a permanent feature of the planet, although astronomers are not in entire agreement as to the evolutionary process by which it came into existence, whether by some cosmic cataclysm or by gradual development throughout indefinite eons, as the rest of the solar system is thought to have come to its present state of existence. Possibly, the planetesimal hypothesis of Chamberlain and Moulton affords the true explanation, as the result of a rupture due to excessive tidal strain. End of chapter 37.